Hello everyone, this is Daisy and welcome to the Make It Make Sense podcast, where we discuss mental health and try to make sense of the stresses and obstacles this world has to offer. Thank you so much for listening in. This is episode 1. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the engagement. I have my family hitting me up asking for the first episode. I have my friends messaging me. I've had like 3 messages today, literally asking me, when is the first episode going to drop? Because I actually promised to post it on Sunday and that didn't happen. And I'll explain why, but that didn't happen. So I was like, I think no one would notice. I don't think anybody would realize. So I should just like not say anything. I don't have to explain myself to anybody. But yeah. So before I start this episode, I just want to give everyone a second and ask, how are you all doing today? How are you feeling mentally, and what can you do to improve your current mental state? It is important that we constantly give ourselves like these prompts like every day. And I think we tend to forget that, especially with like life passing us by. We're currently in a pandemic and the days are blending into one another. So if you're listening in, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to like just check in on yourself. How are you feeling? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? I don't care if you're a 10 out of 10. How can we get you to a 12? How can we get you to a 20? Because, you know, a little extra didn't hurt anybody. So currently I am in a good space. Last week was a bit like hectic, rough. I was very overwhelmed, and I think that's why I didn't even get the time to edit the episode or work on it. My energy was also off when I recorded it, so that's why I'm recording it all over again. So this is probably like take 11. But currently, mental state, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say like a good 8. A very nice, comfortable 8. Today, I got bubble tea, so I loved that. I haven't had bubble tea in a while. When I say a while, I mean like 3 weeks. So how am I going to improve my current mental state? I'm probably like, after recording this episode, I'm probably going to continue watching Big Mouth. They just dropped the 4th season, so I've just like gone right through. I think I'm on episode 8. Super, super interesting. I would highly, highly recommend it. They always talk about like actual real life situations when they talk about these children going through puberty, and currently they're introducing like the anxiety mosquito, because last season they spoke about depression and shame. Now they're introducing anxiety, and I think they're going to introduce self-harm later on. Oh yeah, trigger warning obviously. But yeah, it is very interesting, and also like watching it is very like, damn. You know, when you're also experiencing the same thing, you do get a bit like But besides that, I've been good, and yeah, taking care of my mental health. I wasn't able to do that last week, but I am right now, which is great. So thank you all for tuning in to episode 1, and let's just dive right into the episode. So today we will be discussing why we should be looking after our mental health, the importance of remaining positive and mentally healthy. It is important that I talk about it, I define it, especially if I intend on launching a podcast centered around the topic. So one thing to remember is that there are many degrees of mental wellness, and it is also very important to remember that being mentally healthy and having a mental illness are not two extremes. They're not opposing conditions, because there are many people affected by a mental illness that also have positive mental health. And there are others that feel that day-to-day life is a struggle. They feel hopeless, they feel inadequate, they feel alone, and they also experience life setbacks more deeply. This can happen whether or not you have been diagnosed with a mental illness. So positive mental health is simply feeling in control of your life and your personal decisions. It is also being able to cope with life's challenges, and while being generally optimistic about the future. However, there's so many factors that can affect your mental health, like your genes, your environment, your upbringing, stressful events, and even traumatic experiences, and also a combination of the factors I just listed. We all experience moments where we feel stressed, worried, anxious, or afraid, or even angry. But these are all normal emotions. However, the mental problem arises when these feelings become persistent over time. There are different kinds of mental disorders, and if they're left untreated, they can be chronic and long-lasting, and can also interfere with your family, social, academic, and work responsibilities. Fortunately, there are proper resources and mental health interventions are available. In my opinion, they're not enough, especially in our institutions, our academic institutions. And I don't want to vent, but I'll talk about that later on because we have clinics to fix up. That's it. That's all I have to say. But these means of support are meant to help individuals understand and cope with their symptoms of mental illness. Unfortunately, very few people with mental disorders get access to existing treatment services. And I know earlier I did say that there were not enough mental health resources, and that is coming from me, who is fortunate enough to currently be in Canada. And I'm still identifying that within my community, there are not enough resources, and there are not enough resources in my academic institutions. And I grew up in Ghana, and where the topic was taboo and was never discussed. Back at home, mental health disorders were associated with witchcraft. It meant that your bloodline was cursed. It meant that you are cursed. It meant that you're a crazy person. It meant that you're a mad person. It sucks because this is all because of lack of education, lack of awareness, lack of resources, and the fact that mental health is not being discussed in my community in Ghana. And I really, really hope to make a change, in the future. That's my end goal completely. But back to the topic. So research shows that stigma remains one of the biggest factors that prevents people from getting support for their mental health problems, or getting care or seeking out care for their mental health problems. And it is very important to remember, like I said earlier, that everyone has mental health and it should be treated as importantly as your physical health. I'm going to repeat that over and over again. You're going to get sick and tired of it. So, because we all want to live healthy and fruitful lives. We all want to be able to just maneuver through life without any problems, without feeling like we're being held back by this thing that's hanging over us. It's also easier said than done because there are so many other factors, lack of education, like I said, the fear of people knowing your mental health problem, because you can feel embarrassed, you can feel like you're different. Also within the Black community, the stereotype of being this strong Black man, this strong Black woman comes with that, and that's why there are a lot of Black people that don't seek help. There are a lot of African people that don't seek help, and that really needs to change. That really, really needs to change. So I'm just going to reiterate that your mental health is as important as your physical health. I should tattoo it on my forehead. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 1 of every 4 people suffer from poor mental health. So I hope this lets you take a step back and look at your friendship circles with a completely different light. If you don't think your friends are suffering from poor mental health, you probably are. And I really, really hope that you seek out the proper care, you seek out help. And the reason why you're not is probably because you're normalizing these bad thoughts, you're normalizing these emotions. And it's not meant to be that way, trust me. You're not meant to be stuck in this deep, dark hole. That's not how it's supposed to be for the rest of your life. Trust me, it gets better. And I want people to understand that it gets better. So according to the WHO, poor mental health can also increase your susceptibility to infectious and chronic diseases. So now with the pandemic going around, that's even more scarier, to be very honest. That is why it's even needed now more than ever. And I hope you all are getting the proper mental health care. I will try my best to, I'll find links to free mental health resources or affordable mental health resources and put them in the link in our YouTube video. I also want to have a Google Doc that is accessible by everyone, where I would upload it frequently with resources, mental health treatments, or tips and coping mechanisms, so that it could be useful to everybody. Literally, Google should be your biggest best friend. And there's a lot of research articles on things and ways that you can cope, and I really hope that people go out of their way to do this research for themselves, for their sake, and for the sake of others as well. And learning about mental health, remaining mentally aware, not only solidifies that you're looking after your physical health, it also makes you empathetic to people's conditions, because you really could sit back and look at your friends' actions or your friends' behaviors or things that your friends have said and link it to their poor mental health. And that's not to take away from the fact that there are some people that just make bad decisions, and there are some people that are giving all the resources and still choose to make bad decisions. It does make you think of the what ifs. It does make you think about how you could make a change in the smallest way. So I'll be discussing how to look after your mental health and other ways that I look after my mental health on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening till the very, very end of this episode. I really appreciate the support. Shout out to Osa. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to my boyfriend. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for encouraging me to drop episode 1. Because I was a bit nervous. I thought I would just run away from it. And so until episode 2, I hope you all stay mentally healthy, and see you guys next time. Bye. Almost forgot. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at tmims.podcast to stay up to date on the uploads and also get access to the resources that I'll be posting on the feed.